riding on that new river train, riding on that new river train. Same old train that brought me here is gonna carry me away again. Hello folks, I'm Greg Parks, your Greenspring Troubadour. Today I will celebrate the birthday of Carl Smith and the founding of the U.S. Military Academy, which was on March 16, 1802. Well, Carl Smith was born on March 15, 1927, in Maynersville, Tennessee. At the age of 15, he started performing in a band called the Kitty Dibble and her Dude Ranch Wranglers. By age 17, he had learned to play the string bass and spent his summer vacation working at WROL in Knoxville, where he performed on Cass Walker's radio show. After graduating from high school, he served in the U.S. Navy from 1944 to 47. He returned to WROL and played string bass for country singers Molly O'Day and Skeets Williamson, and began his singing career. A colleague at the station sent an acetate disc recording of Smith to WSM and the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, and WSM soon signed him. In 1950, Smith was signed to a recording contract with Columbia Records by producer Don Law. And during the 1950s, he had 30 top 10 Billboard hits, including 21 in a row. He had 5 number 1 hits, and Carl Smith's success continued well into the 1970s, when he had a charting single every year except one. In 2003, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Carl died in January 2010. To celebrate his birthday, I will sing "Are You Teasing Me," which was a number 1 hit in 1952. When you're all alone, dear, and you're in my arms, are you teasing me? When you're telling me how you thrill to my charms, are you teasing me? Are you untrue when I'm not with you? When we're apart, are you free? Tell me, darling, while our love is still young, are you teasing me? You say that my kiss sends your heart in a whirl. Are you teasing me? And that you'll be mine till the end of the world. Are you teasing me? Are you untrue when I'm not with you? When we're apart, are you free? Tell me, darling, while our love is still young, are you teasing me? You tell me my love makes your life complete, and tied in my arms you want to be. Tell me, darling, while our love is still young, are you teasing me? As a plebe at Westpoint, we were required by the upper classes to learn a lot of information, which we call plebe poop. Included in the plebe poop were the football yells and a few songs. One of those songs was Benny Havens' "Oh," which was about a tavern owned and operated by a man named Benny Havens, who was born on January the 6th, 1787, and died May the 9th, 1877. Initially, Benny Havens was located on Westpoint property near the cadet barracks. In 1832, he was expelled from Westpoint property, and he opened a tavern on the Hudson's River edge below the cliffs of Highland Falls. He was now off limits, but he was still a favorite tavern of cadets who would become famous, such as Jefferson Davis, Edgar Allan Poe were among them. A song was written about Benny Havens by Lieutenant Lucius O'Brien of the 8th Infantry in 1836 or 38. And the song eventually became part of plebe poop. Over 60 verses were written over the years, but we had to learn only 3 of them. Thank goodness. I will sing Benny Havens' "Ode" to celebrate the 215th anniversary of the founding of Westpoint. Come fill your glasses, fellows, and stand up in a row to singing sentimental Army there's sobriety, promotion's very slow. So we'll sing our reminiscences of Benny Havens, oh, oh Benny Havens, oh, oh Benny Havens, oh. We'll sing our reminiscences of Benny Havens, oh, to our kind old alma mater, our rock-bound Highland home. We'll cast back many a fond regret as o'er life's sea we roam, until on our last battlefield the light of heaven shall glow. We'll never fail to drink to her at Benny Havens, oh, oh Benny Havens, oh, oh Benny Havens, oh. We'll sing our reminiscences to Benny Havens, oh. May the Army be augmented, promotion be less slow. May our country in the hour of need be ready for the foe. May we find a soldier's resting place beneath the soldier's blow, with room enough beside our grave for Benny Havens, oh, oh Benny Havens, oh, oh Benny Havens, oh. We'll sing our reminiscences of Benny Havens, oh. We'll sing our reminiscences of Benny Havens, oh. Can't you just see a bunch of fellows sitting around the bar singing that song? I think that's a good bar song. Well, another song we had to learn as plebes was Army Blue. It was the song of the class of 1865, and it was written by L.W. Becklaw. When you hear the Westpoint Alumni Glee Club sing it, you hear one, two, maybe two, maybe three verses. The Army Blue we learned had 6 verses. The stanza about the man who wins the cup needs a little explanation. The class gives a silver cup to the first son born into the class, and the son becomes the godson of the class. As I recall, the godson of my class died as a boy. The ladies who come up in June refer to the young women who rode the Hudson River Dayliner up from New York, got off at Westpoint to spend a few hours while the boat traveled on up the Hudson River to Albany, and then returned. The young ladies would board the boat to return to New York. The trip all the way to Albany ceased in 1948, but when I was at Westpoint as a math instructor from 1957 to 60, we would board the boat in Newburgh, ride to Poughkeepsie, have lunch at Talbot's, a favorite restaurant on the riverfront, while the boat traveled up the river to Kingston, and then board the boat on its way down the river journey to return to Newburgh. That was a favorite trip for my young family. So much for background. Army Blue was sung to the tune of Aura Lee. It is also the tune to a Elvis Presley song, Love Me Tender. This is Army Blue. We've not much longer here to stay, for in a month or two we'll bid farewell to Cadet Gray and don the Army Blue. Army Blue, Army Blue, hurrah for the Army Blue. We'll bid farewell to Cadet Gray and don the Army Blue. With pipe and song we'll jog along till this short time is through, and all among our jovial throng have donned the Army Blue. Army Blue, Army Blue, hurrah for the Army Blue. We'll bid farewell to Cadet Gray and don the Army Blue. To the ladies who come up join the army too. Army blue, army blue, hurrah for the army blue. We'll bid farewell to cadet gray and don the army blue. Here's to the man who wins the cup, may he be tried and true, and may he bring our godson up to don the army blue. Army blue, army blue, hurrah for the army blue. We'll bid farewell to cadet gray and don the army blue. 'Twas a song we sang in old plebe camp when first our gray was new. The song we sang on summer nights, that song of army blue. Army blue, army blue, hurrah for the army blue. We'll bid farewell to cadet gray and don the army blue. Now fellows, we must say goodbye. We've stuck our 4 years through. Our future is a cloudless sky. We'll don the army blue. Army blue, army blue, hurrah for the army blue. We'll bid farewell to cadet gray and don the army blue. The Church in the Wildwood was written by Dr. William S. Pitts. During a stagecoach ride in 1857 to visit his fiancée in Fredericksburg, Iowa, the stage stopped at Bradford, Iowa, and Pitts found particular beauty in a wooded valley formed by the Cedar River. Pitts envisioned a church building there, and after returning to his home in Wisconsin, he wrote The Church in the Wildwood. It is a song about a church in that valley. By 1862, Pitts was married, and he and his wife moved to Fredericksburg to be near her elderly parents. And he was surprised upon his return to find a church being erected where he had imagined it 5 years earlier. The building was even being painted brown because that was the least expensive color of paint to be found. And the church is still there. I hope you enjoy The Church in the Wildwood. You can have just a little sip. There's a church in the valley by the wildwood, no lovelier spot in the dale. No place is so dear to my childhood as the little brown church in the vale. Oh, come, 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 come to the church by the wildwood. Church in the vale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as the little brown church in the vale. How sweet on that clear Sabbath morning to listen to the clear ringing bell. Its tones so sweetly are calling, oh, come to the church in the vale. Church in the wildwood, oh, come to the church in the vale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as the little brown church in the vale. There close by the church in the valley lies one that I love so well. She sleeps sweetly, sweet the well, oh, disturb not her rest in the vale. Oh, come, 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 by the wildwood. Oh, come to the church in the vale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as a little brown church in the dale. There close by the side of that loved one, neath the tree where the wildflowers bloom. When farewell hymn shall be chanted, I shall rest by her side in the tune. Oh, come, 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 come to the church in the wildwood. Oh, come to the church in the vale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as that little brown church in the vale. Well, folks, that's all for today. Please join me next Friday at the same time, right after Village in Motion. Till then, this is Gray Parks, your Greenspring Troubadour, saying so long, and I'm leaving on that new river train. Leaving on that new river train. The same old train that brought me